It's time for high school football coverage right here on ThreeRiversBroadcasting.com, the new voice of Pittsburgh. The Pigskin Report. We take you around the tri-state area with scores, stats, and interviews right from the gridiron. And now, here are your hosts, Jordan and Alex.
Welcome to the Pigskin Report on Three Rivers Broadcasting. I'm Jordan, and this is Alex.
Third time's the charm. We're going to get it right this time. We had there was a power outage here in the building, and it reset our entire output system. I think we got everything worked out now. I'm going to say Paul down the hall is the reason we're back, and we got the power and everything's fixed. We're going to blame it on Paul, and we're going to credit him for fixing it, too. So big shout out to Paul down the hall at Lawrence Repairs.
Yeah, and a shout out to our special friend in New Jersey for letting us know.
The real boss checking in to remind us that, hey, you guys are having some problems. You know, he wasn't the only ones. Our good friends from Quick Trip IV, who we're going to tell you a little bit about, they also said, hey, we see you, but we don't hear you. And Billy from Pennsylvania Football News asked, hey, you guys having some technical issues? Yeah, there was a power outage today, and it kind of messed up our whole system. So we've been working on it, and I think we're back to normal now. So
hopefully third time's a charm.
We're going to get it this time.
We'll get it this time. So getting right into the show. Our title sponsor for our sports coverage is the Polish Falcons of America. They offer a wide variety of life insurance and financial benefit policies, active, social, and athletic opportunities, and are the leading voice of Polonia in America. Visit their website at www.polishfalcons.org for more information.
I'm a legacy. Check them out, polishfalcons.org. My family's been involved with them for almost 100 years.
So, Alex, can you tell us a little bit about last night's game with Perry and Carrick?
Yeah, I think it went as expected. Perry came away, runaway winners, 38-0. Not too much to write home from it. It was a good performance for Perry, but I want to say with Carrick, when I was out there last year with Pennsylvania Football News, they ended the season with just 12 players. They started with about 30, but they just hemorrhaged players as the season went on. They finished the last game against Westinghouse with only 12 guys. Much steadier this year. They've got about 25 players. They haven't lost anyone, which is fantastic. The new coaching staff really doing a great job of keeping these kids out. A lot of freshmen as well. They have, I think, 8 or 9 on the roster. 5 of them were playing significant minutes yesterday, so that was nice to see. I think the future could be pretty bright. They were competitive for really the first quarter and a half, almost till halftime. Then just young guys against a bunch of seniors from Perry that ran out of gas. But again, it's a tough go of it up there at Carrick right now. They're playing some smaller schools, trying to rebuild the program. They're taking all the right steps. They played Ligonier last week. Might have been a little over their heads in that game. That's one of the better Class A schools. They might be double A schools in the state. And they were out in District 6 for a while. Used to be a Whitfield school. Now they're back in the Whitfield. They're really a dominant program at the smaller school levels, and they beat Carrick pretty good. But on the whole, I'm proud to see that they're coming back. It's one of those schools that we've adopted here at Three Rivers Broadcasting, along with Jeanette, to say, hey, we're pulling for you guys. Go get them. And we hope that Carrick can finish out the season well, and that Perry can continue and try to clip another victory before the season's over. Why don't we get to the scoreboard?
We shall. So North Catholic shut out South Park 41-0. Avonworth thumped Ambridge 37-6. Shenango blasts Northgate 48-6. McGuffey rolled past Waynesburg 55-22. Laurel crushes New Brighton 42-7. Springdale got past Jeanette 20-9. Freedom shut out Elwood City 35-0. Alex, for more.
Oh, well, unfortunately, Jeanette, so we went 0 for 2 this week with our teams, but we're pulling for you, the Jayhawks and the Carrick Raiders as well. We hope they can finish the season strong. Baldwin cruised by Hempfield, 28-0. Mapletown assaulted Avella, 45-16. Clearfield comes down, rolls Trinity, 30-0. Indiana doubling up Highlands, 29-14. Fox Chapel, 35. Kiski area, 21. That's going to drop Kiski out of our poll in their class. They've now dropped 2 in a row. Lost to North Hills last week, now to Fox Chapel. Southmoreland beat Yock 35-7, and Canavan, our number 2 team in the Class A rankings, got by Leechburg, who was number 3, 33-3. And I think it's a good time to step aside, take a quick break, and then we'll be back with some more of the Pigskin Report.
Carnegie Ironworks is Pittsburgh's go-to for artistic, unique, and decorative steel and iron designs. We provide custom fencing, interior and exterior railings, outdoor fire pits, window coverings, and much more. If you can think of it, we can fabricate it. Find us on the web at www.carnegieiron.com. That's Carnegie Ironworks, for when you need it for 500 years. Are you an athlete looking to take your game and performance to the next level? Gym Rat Performance Training is where Pittsburgh's elite competitors go to train. We specialize in personal training, strength, speed, and agility training, sports-specific training, and we offer the best basketball player development in the City of Champions. If you are ready to transform your body, expand your mind, and reach your potential, it's time to join the Rat Pack at gymratpt.com. That's GYMRATPT.com. Gym Rat Performance Training, punishing Pittsburgh since 2016 because rats don't rest.
You're listening to the Pigskin Report live on ThreeRiversBroadcasting.com, the new voice of Pittsburgh.
All right, we are here back at the Pigskin Report here on Three Rivers Broadcasting. Let's roll right into some more scores tonight. Thomas Jefferson laid into Laurel Highlands 42-3. Penn Hills escaped North Hills 35-29. Valley beat Derry 32-14. On homecoming, Andy's alma mater, Carlington, was defeated by Southside Beaver 49-14.
This is where the sound effects need to kick
Wah,
in next
wah,
week.
wah.
Wah, wah. Maybe next time for the Cougars.
I'm rooting for those guys, man. But we talk about this all the time. It's a community effort to get a winning high school program, and it all starts at the top. It starts with the community being invested in the program, and in smaller schools like we've talked about, it's so hard to recruit kids to come out for the team. So yeah, I mean, they're another team that obviously I want to see them do well. That's my alma mater. That's where I'm from. I love the town. There's a lot of great things going on. It would be great to have our kids match. I shouldn't say our kids. It would have our high school athletic program, particularly football, which is so important here in Western PA, match all the other positive stuff going on in Carnegie. And I know the kids are working hard to do that, but we got to keep pushing forward for it.
Well said.
I'm trying.
Listen, we're all in. We hope Carlington. That's another one of our schools here that we're rooting
I think
for.
we have 4 of them.
Yeah, I think we do have 4. We got Carrick, we got Jeanette, we got Carlington. Do we have a 4th team that we're rooting for?
Yeah, I'm trying to think who the 4th. There was another team that we
That's
were
struggling.
Yeah.
I forget who the 4th team is, and of course Franklin Regional.
Franklin, of course, yes.
So, should we keep going?
Yeah, let's keep going. Armstrong County double Greensburg-Salem 33-16. Quaker Valley took down Hopewell 30-7. Mars scored its first win by defeating Knock 14-13. On homecoming, my alma mater, Franklin Regional, lost Woodland Hills 37-21.
We went 0-2 on homecoming tonight.
I know.
Unfortunately,
yes.
Did your sisters attend the game and have a good experience, or do you don't hear from them for like weeks on end?
No, actually, we talk 24/7 every day. So yes, they did go, and it was actually poker themed tonight for their student section.
Yeah, that's cool. So everybody dress up.
Yes, very, very unique, I think, because some kids were wearing suits and ties and dresses, and I'm like, they're really going all out nowadays for these student sections. I don't really remember doing that much.
I thought Lebo was great tonight. They had the Steeler theme,
really
and
good.
all the kids had their jerseys on.
Yeah.
And
they
were
had
really
the
giving it to
Steelers
Central
mascot.
Catholic too. I mean, they were on Central Catholic. It had that rivalry feel tonight when Central came walking in and when Central came walking out due to the delay that we had to leave the game.
Yeah, well, listen, I think that in 6A, with Palco now in charge at Lebo, that is the rivalry. We've seen over the last 2 years, they came on last year and beat them. And right now, we'll see what happens tomorrow morning. I'm going to get over there for the last whatever it is 14 minutes that they have to play. They might do it again. Lebo might get them a second time.
Yeah, I personally thought, we watched the 75% of the game because they're midway through the third, I believe. Mount Lebanon was the superior team.
They're for real.
They were the superior team, and that became pretty obvious early. I was very impressed. Obviously, we know they have a fantastic wide receiver. They have a fantastic high school quarterback.
Yep.
I was really impressed with their defense because we've talked many times about how good Central is across the board and how many Division I and Division II players are on that roster. They weren't intimidated at all. They're like, bring it.
Yeah,
It was exciting. I mean, I'm not knocking Central. I mean, their Class Act program, they easily can pull the win out tomorrow. I believe the game's going to start at 10, you were saying.
10 o'clock
So
tomorrow,
it's going to be
yeah.
exciting. But, man, I'll tell you what, Lebo came out fire in their eyes, and you knew it was going to be a good game.
Yeah, I haven't been to a high school football game, and I've done lots of them over the years. I've done big games, Battle of Bethlehem, the public schools, things like that, games in the Lehigh Valley and in New Jersey, big schools, Phillipsburg, Elizabeth, Linden, games like that. I haven't been to an atmosphere this amped up in probably 5 or 6 seasons. The big game atmosphere, the TV, the radio coverage, the news reporters, the camera people all over the place, the special guests that were down there from everybody. We had our newest sponsors, the guys from Quick Trip IV, were with us. Bo and Newman were down there. We got a little footage with them that you'll see a little bit later on, and we're going to be doing some bigger stuff with them in the coming weeks. And everybody was just sitting there going, man, this is that big game atmosphere that
I think Jordan was ticked off, though. They cut off AC/DC when Mount Lebanon was coming out for the band. And I'm not knocking the band, but, you can't cut off AC/DC.
No, you can't do that.
No, yeah.
And they also had the Steelers mascot there, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah,
Steely McBean.
That was big time tonight. Yeah, and I tell you, the shade thrown by, like you said, the Lebo student section, that was as loud as I've heard a student section,
Oh
like
my
I
gosh,
said,
yeah.
in years.
It was a huge student section.
Yep, Central came out of the locker room and the boos that were raining down, like you could feel it on the other side of the stand. That,
It was
they
funny.
really don't like
yeah,
these
like
guys.
Jordan was asking me walking in because she's a Westmoreland County girl, so these are different teams than she's used to, and people don't understand that aren't from our area. Like, we're very regional, so if you're from a particular county, you kind of know the teams from that county,
Yep.
but you don't really always know the rivalries in other counties. But this has become a prime time 6A rivalry here in Allegheny County, and I loved it. That was big time high school Western Pennsylvania football tonight, and it was good sportsmanship by both teams. I mean, they're obviously they're rivals. They don't like each other, but the kids were in good spirits about it. I was really impressed with the whole thing. I think the guys from Quick Trip really enjoyed it too.
They did, and we found Newman played at St. Edwards in Lakewood. I mean, that's big deal. St. Edwards, Ohio. That's a big time program. He played basketball there too. So it was nice to have all these kind of sports folks around us. We had a wonderful time down there, and I think you hear this kind of aura about the quality of high school football in Western Pennsylvania, and people say, oh, back in the day when you had Aliquippa and all these other schools, and there were 14 whatever schools in the Pittsburgh City League, how good the football was. Tonight, to me, I didn't grow up out here, but everything I'd ever heard about when I was growing up back in New Jersey is that Western Pennsylvania is this football hotbed and things like that. The game tonight for me was probably my first real experience at a big-time football game in Western Pennsylvania. Because I've done, we've done some good City League games. I've attended some other big games over the years out here when I've been in Western Pennsylvania on trips. But, man, this thing delivered tonight. The quality on the field from both teams was fantastic, and Lebo, who really probably came in with mostly D2 and D3 players, stepped up their game.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I also thought that the Division I players were obviously Division I players.
Clearly, I mean, Heidenreich
is
fantastic.
Navy got a steal.
Yeah, they did.
They got a steal, and I'm all for, we talk about this on the Pittsburgh Sports Report all the time, but we want kids going to the service academies. But I think he can play at a BCS level school in the slot.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the guys he was the corners he was going up against tonight, arguably are going to be playing in the slot, and he was eating those guys alive. So he's big time. He's a very, very smart player. Reminds me a lot of some of the old, Wes Welker and who's the guy that plays on the Chargers, Cooper Kupp. I think I'm saying that right, but he's a dynamic player. I love watching him play. He does everything for him.
Yeah, well, I was very impressed too. You had mentioned the quarterback, Joey Daniels, very good high school quarterback. Alex Tezza, the running back, very, very good. He's a hard-nosed runner. He's the kind of kid who I could see easily going to, to a Robert Morris or St. Francis, Duquesne, that kind of school.
Robert Morris was in the house tonight. We talked to their coaches, and they liked what they saw.
On both sides.
Yeah, on both sides. Both sides. And I like Robert Morris is really active at these games. Their guys are out here. We know Elijah and the type of quality running back that they have there already, but Elijah's getting towards the end of his career. For those of you who don't know, Elijah Jackson is our intern and the starting running back at Robert Morris, so we know him very well. And we're not just singing his praises. If you look at his stats, he's a very, very good player. So the running back position at Robert Morris is something that they really put a lot of stock in, and they run the ball. I mean, he's putting 25, 26 attempts in every single game.
Yep, and I think it's safe to say that they were impressed with both Tezza and Gannon Carruthers, who just got an offer from the University of Pittsburgh. He was another impressive player tonight. We'll see what the final score ends up tomorrow, but we should probably move on a little bit here. And but again, just fantastic game tonight. Really enjoyed being down there. Latrobe wrecked Connellsville 55-13. Penn Trafford, I wrote that they upset Gateway. I don't know. Gateway's just, something's going on there. They're not playing up to the potential. They got a couple of transfers. It's just not melding together for them. Penn Trafford beat them 15-10. Bethel Park downing South Fayette 27-7. South Fayette kind of up and down this year after being very steady for several years. West Green shut down Bentworth. That was 56-0. Last two scores that we got in here, Steubenville, Ohio thumped Alderdice 48-13. Steubenville obviously ranked in or around the region polls, and they've been in and out of our top 5 all year. They may be able to sneak back in as the season progresses, as they continue to win games. And then Morgantown University, who is our number 2 overall team, they defeated Albert Gallatin, who was 4-1 coming in, playing a lot of schools outside the WPIAL now. Albert Gallatin played some schools from Western Maryland and the Cumberland area, as well as Northern West Virginia. Morgantown swarmed them 36-14. Want to give a big shout out to the U-Zoo, who follows us on our Twitter accounts, and we hooked up with them through covering the Wheeling Park Morgantown University game. Came away very impressed with University. They are our number 2 overall team. And if Lebo beats Central, we're going to have a conversation on Sunday. And maybe we're going to flip a coin, or maybe Jordan's going to make the final call because it's kind of blind for her. She'll pick who's going to be number 1 this week. We'll see what happens. But again, if Lebo can finish the job.
Wouldn't that be an amazing matchup? Morgantown University and I'd like to see them play Mount Lebanon.
Oh, yeah. I think
that would be a heck of a game.
I think it would be a heck of a game. Having seen University, they match up with Lebanon very, very well. The size on the line is there. They've got athletes all over the field as well who, again, they're not necessarily Division I players, but they got a lot of kids who are going to go to those West Virginia D2 schools. Some of them might end up in the PSAC, and even some end up presidents, D3 players in the area. But University's a very impressive team. We want to give that whole community a shout out because we got 30, 40 new followers just from doing that one game. At the end of October, we're going to be done with Pittsburgh City League play, and they've got their own mini backyard brawl coming up. It's I think it's the 29th is the date of the game. We may be going on down to Morgantown and Morgantown University, so that's the big game down there in that area, northern West Virginia. Think, again, as long as we're free, I don't see why we wouldn't take the road trip. So we'll see what happens with Lebo, and we'll see if Morgantown University.
Will this be like an ECW trip? Like Jordan has to come down with a crowbar?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I fully expect it.
She has no idea what ECW is.
She has no idea what we just talked about. Maybe we go like New Jack, and you got to bring the the trash can. With
Yeah.
you. That'll be yeah. And Jordan's just sitting there going, I have no clue what these guys are
I'm
talking about.
confused.
Your life is better that you don't know what we're talking about.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, we'll keep it that way. Just a reminder, if your school's result is not given, that means we did not receive a submission as of airtime. The only reason we would ever need to go down to Morgantown University with that is if we don't make them number one next week. So they may be upset with that. If you missed the score and it wasn't in, that means we didn't get a submission. Go to Pennsylvania Football News for the latest stats and scores. Check out our man Billy there, pafootballnews.com. Not just for the WPIAL and the City League. He's got reporters all over the place. Lehigh Valley, Cole Region, Erie, Philadelphia, Dutch Country. He's got reporters throughout every single district. There is no better source for high school football. And now they're doing some college as well. PennsylvaniaFootballNews.com. I wrote for Billy last year for the Pittsburgh City League. Sorry, Billy, I've been so busy. I haven't written an article for the City League. I feel bad. But again, check out PennsylvaniaFootballNews.com for all the latest stats and scores. They do such a wonderful job over there. And Billy really is the high school football guru.
So that's all the scores we have for tonight.
Yeah, that's it.
What are some key points to take away from tonight, Alex?
Hey, can I interrupt you guys real quick?
Yeah.
Message from the CEO, and I'll probably be pronouncing this wrong, so I'm going to rely on your Jersey background.
Uh-oh.
But Camden and is it pronounced Pennsauken?
Pennsauken.
Pennsauken called at halftime due to a riot.
Did he say where the game was?
We'll have to see what he says. We'll have to see what he says.
Okay.
But,
Not not necessarily surprised
Yeah.
that there would be a riot at a Camden Pennsauken game. We'll just leave it there. I mean, I could see it happening. Those are it's a big rivalry down there in South Jersey. Going back, I mean, we're talking
here's my
100
issue
years.
with all that. I love the passion. I love talking trash, but people in this country need. It was at Pennsauken.
It was at Pennsauken. Okay.
People in this country need to understand that sports are supposed to be a release.
Yep.
You know, from your problems, from your reality. You can talk trash. You can get passionate about it. But I think I always talk about this, and for some of you that know, my background's in ministry. We have replaced. I'm going to get a little theological here, Alex.
Going to church, baby.
Yeah. We've replaced God with our teams and with the NFL and with college programs, and we defend these teams to a fault, and it's not good. You know, we need to start understanding that other people are there to have a good time, and it's okay to walk away. If somebody is intoxicated or somebody has a problem with you, you don't have to be tough. You don't have to show off there. I've learned that as I've gotten older. Just walk away from it, because it's not worth getting stabbed, getting shot. And these are things that are going on at college games, at high school games. It's not worth it. And as we've said before on the Pittsburgh Sports Report, the people that pay the most are the ones that really are putting the time in, the players, the coaches, and the students, because they don't get an opportunity to actually support their school.
I couldn't say it any better. I think it's so true that we've lost a lot of perspective. That happened. There were, I think, 4 games in and around Philadelphia that were canceled due to either threats of violence or previous violence in the immediate inner ring of Philadelphia in the last week or two. I know Billy's out there. He's probably got the official count, but I think it was Kennett Square got canceled this week.
Yeah, I did
because of
see
a threat.
Billy
Billy
posted
tweeted
something
it.
today. Yeah.
Yeah, he had put that out there. So, you know,
I've learned more about high school football or high schools in general this year from Billy, and I'm a Pennsylvanian. I had no idea about half of these schools.
I tell you, he's the guru. He knows them all, man.
He's an historian, really. It's really amazing when you start reading, like, where's this school at? And the traditions they have. You don't realize how many great football programs there are in the Commonwealth.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, the one that has the most wins is one of the smaller ones. Mount Carmel area is the winningest program in Pennsylvania. At least I think they're still the winningest program.
Jordan, do you know about that?
No.
Mount Carmel area?
Mount Carmel area. They are tucked away in the anthracite coal region of northeastern Pennsylvania, Northumberland County. and they are the winningest program. I believe, at least last time I had checked. That may have changed over the last couple of years, but they're still good. So Mount Carmel area, the winningest program in Pennsylvania. They play at a place called the Silver Bowl. I've been there, and yeah, it's a cool place. You go up in the town. I actually interviewed for my senior project in college. I interviewed a guy who he's since passed. His name was Albert Vizentainer in Mount Carmel, and he had said he had this scraggly voice, and the best time to rob Mount Carmel is on a Friday night when
football.
We're home.
Yep.
He's like essentially the whole town shuts down, and whatever 6,000 people are left in the community. They've lost about half their population when the mines closed and that. They all show up on a Friday night, and it's like town is ghost town on Fridays. And yeah, it's cool to travel around the state. And maybe that's something we could get into as we get a little bigger. We take some road trips and do some of these little, Pennsylvania history shows. That would be pretty fun. But again, yeah, I think it's great to have pride in your town, have pride in your team, in your school, in the kids. But it doesn't need to get violent. And I think that's a shame when that happens at games. It's a shame when it happens outside of games. We have WPIAL schools right now, several of them who are not playing home games because of issues related to violence and crime at the stadium or near the stadium, which is a shame because these kids are getting robbed of once in a lifetime experiences and memories that they'll keep with them.
It's like we keep saying, the adults need to be adults. Stop acting like a kid.
Yep, I agree.
It's okay to use your words. You can express yourself on social media and get mad and all this stuff. I do it. You do it. We all do it. But that's it. It stops there. When you start threatening violence on people and, bringing weapons to games, it goes too far.
It is. And you don't want to get to the point where you're wanding people or you're putting up metal detectors. I mean, there are places in, there are school districts in Western Pennsylvania. You go down a couple stadium, it's probably the safest place in Pittsburgh at that moment because you go through the metal detector and they're going to wand you afterwards, which, it stinks that has to happen. But at the same time, they have that in place to make sure nothing goes wrong at the stadium. And I've been there for 2 years. We've never had an issue. But so I give credit to them. But again, it's terrible. You want to see the adults be the adults in the community. And I think another part of it too, the respect for the elders of the community is not there anymore either. That used to be very, very important. And I know we're on a tangent now and we're just going off, but the kind of a dual pronged thing, the lack of God and lack of respect for the older generations who might have been saying, hey, don't do that. And, it ends up in a bad situation.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. Hopefully people are liking the kind of new format we have going on with the show. We're going to have a little bit more dialogue like this. Alex and I are long-winded, and Jordan has to sit here and listen. But I announced this last week, we are introducing at the end of the show, you're going to get all the scores just like you did tonight, our rambling on about football and other things. Hopefully you like some of it, and quite frankly, we don't care if you don't, because that's just how it goes.
This is our show. We're doing it.
But we also will be you can rewatch the show on Saturday mornings, and we will also have some special features in there, including the interviews. We didn't have a lot this week because obviously the rain delays, the lightning delays, half the games ended, and reporters are just running out of the stadium saying, get me out of here. So, but that will be the dynamic. We're going to have a feature. I'll let you guys talk about that as we conclude the show.
All right, real quick, though, I wanted to get in here. Here we go. We got on this tangent. Key points. 1, we'll keep it short and sweet. Mount Lebanon is the real deal, even if they don't finish the job tomorrow. Even if Central Catholic comes back and gets them, Mount Lebanon is for real. They are deserving of every ranking. Even in defeat, I could see bumping them up. And with all due respect to University, I could see even if Lebo loses, bumping them up. They were fantastic. Gateway's not living up to expectations. And Westinghouse goes outside the City League again, gets a nice win at Butler. Now, everybody will say, it's Butler. Come on, it's Butler. Butler's left the WPIAL. They're playing the schools in Erie. They gave McDowell a game, and McDowell's one of the best 6A schools in the state and a possible contender to be in Hershey at the end of the year. And House gets a nice win up at Butler, went on the road, got the job done. Butler's going to play Cathedral Prep next week, so they're taking on the tough games as they rebuild their program. So a nice win for Westinghouse and Coach Dante Green, who he lost a game against Kirtland, Ohio at the beginning of the year. That really would have been a marquee game if they got it, but I'll give them credit. Good win tonight up at Butler. We should wrap up the program by thanking our sponsors. We'll tell you a little bit more about what we're going to do, and then we're out of here for the night. Jordan?
We'd like to thank, first and foremost, our title sponsors, the Polish Falcons of America, Waste Management, Mother of Mercy Academy, the Guard Market, Carnegie Ironworks, Jim Rat Performance Training, and Quick Drip IV.
We'd additionally like to thank our station sponsors, Report It, Steel City Grease Traps, as well as Lawrence Repair. You can give Paul down the hall a call, and if you bring in your broken television, you might even get a Klondike bar out of it. You know, he comes around. This evening, Paul was trying to get Jordan to ditch us to go to dinner with him.
Yeah, you want to get crab.
He was trying to take you to the Baltimore House.
Not a bad offer.
With him, so
You wanted crab.
he was going for crab legs at the Baltimore House.
Yeah,
so.
not a bad offer.
Hey, and again, you can check out the Lawrence Repair Old Time Radio Show starting at, well, not at 10 o'clock tonight, but most nights, 10 p.m. until 6 a.m., all classic radio shows from the 30s and 40s, brought to you by our good friends at Lawrence Repair.
We'd also like to thank Billy and the team at Pennsylvania Football News for their cooperation with us this year. Please support them by visiting www.pafootballnews.com for all the latest in high school football in the Commonwealth.
All right, so we'd like to thank, of course, you, the viewer. We had a 10,000 hit week with our last run of football games 2 weeks ago. That's fantastic. I'm going to give a shout out to anybody who's coming into us via Alignable. We have now reached almost 20,000 views of our content that has been posted to the Alignable website, and that's small business owners in Pittsburgh, just like us, small businesses in Pittsburgh. So anybody who's checking us out there, thank you if you are in with us tonight. Want to thank Coach for doing a great job on the technical stuff. This girl over here gives up every Friday for us, so thank you, Jordan, for doing a great job as always. And we're going to be going on down with Bo and Newman to Quick Trip IV soon to do our feature on them, and it's going to be another community spotlight. And Jordan, at least Jordan and I don't know if Coach is jumping in too. We're going to go get a vitamin infusion. Are you joining us for that one,
I'm
Coach?
open to it.
All right. So I think
the CEO reports McDowell won 44-0.
Okay, nice win there for McDowell. Not sure who McDowell was playing this weekend, but 44-0. A nice.
It doesn't matter if you win 44.
If you win 44-0, it doesn't matter. So again, I want to thank everybody at home. And then we are also, okay, we're actually going to let Jordan do this. So thank you again to everybody. Jordan, last word's yours.
All right. Well, thank you for all you viewers at home. It's been a night here in the studio. We cannot thank you enough for tuning in. But don't forget to check out our YouTube tomorrow for the full program with video editions.
It's been a night and a half.
It has been a night and a half.
Between the lightning strike, the power outage, the computer reset, the system getting
Third
reset.
time's a charm, yeah.
Third time we got it right. So,
We did.
we did it this time.
Well, yes. Well, have a good night and thank you.